Let's welcome to the show Forbes Media Chairman and Editor-in-Chief. He is Steve Forbes. Steve, it's always great to see you. Hey, Steve, first, I'd like your reaction to this. We have angry voters in New Jersey hit by Hurricane Ida's aftermath. They were yelling and heckling the president when he was touring the area. They're angry over how he botched Afghanistan. Watch this.
This time, leave them in ruins and leave Americans behind. Leave Americans behind. He will leave you behind. You guys, protecting him. Leave you guys behind.
That's great.
Leave no American behind.
Ronald Wildrick buried in Arlington, 2011, December 11th. For what? He lost his life for what?
The people who stand on the other side of the fences who don't live there.
Okay, so he's saying they don't live there. He's saying they're upset about his actions on climate change. Did he take a poll and ask them if they live there? I mean, that's the response? They're upset. What do you say?
Well, I think a lot of people saw these visits, unfortunately, as more for photo ops and to take away attention from the debacle in Afghanistan than genuine concern about what's happened in New Jersey and elsewhere. And he could have made visits even sooner. But he's on full bore. He's talking about unions. He's talking about this, that, and the other thing to take away the focus on one of the greatest debacles in American history.
You know, Steve, the president plans another COVID speech tomorrow. They're going to talk about more testing, more mandates. It's all to stop his plunging approval ratings. This all feels so desperately out of touch, Steve, what they're planning. The president's approval ratings dropping toward 40%, below where Obama and Clinton stood at this point. Democrats lost control of Congress in a big way back under Obama and Clinton with numbers like this. Is this why Pelosi and Schumer are trying to slam through, race to the finish line to slam through the Biden agenda right now?
Absolutely. I think Nancy Pelosi, Speaker Pelosi, recognizes she's going to lose. The Democrats are going to lose next year in the House of Representatives. Therefore, she wants to go in the sunset because she knows she's going to be stepping down, having passed 4 new major entitlements and major expansions of Medicare, Medicaid, Obamacare, and who knows what else, electric cars and the like. And that's why they want to ram it through. They figure, OK, that's where they lost in 2010, but by golly, they kept Obamacare in place. So they may lose this time, but they'll have triumphed in terms of policy. That's why it's so important on that so-called $3.5 trillion bill, which we know is really $6 or $7 trillion, that they don't put in these entitlements. The numbers don't count. What counts is if they put in those entitlements, they could start them at $1, and you know within years they're going to be tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. So it's the substance of those bills that counts, not the numbers they proffer out there.
Yes, Steve, that's an important point you just made, because it's hard to get rid of entitlements once they're enacted. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's why what Senator Joe Manchin said in that essay for the Wall Street Journal is so important. All of these entitlements should be done only after careful debate and review and discussion, not rammed through in a quick budget bill that they want to do in a matter of days or weeks. These should be done over months. But that's why they want to ram it through. So I hope Manchin and others, Senator Manchin and others, keep their backbone and say no on these entitlements, no on these expansions. They should be treated as separate bills and properly debated.
You know, Steve, it just feels like, you know, that the Americans may not see what the Democrats are doing is historic. They're doing wartime level of spending and tax hikes when we're at a war on terror. But this you usually see after something like World War II. We have a new poll from Zogby Analytics shows 1 in 5 Democrats now regret voting for Joe Biden. He's weakened right here. It makes it harder for him to pressure Democrats to get in line to do his massive spending when you have top Democrats like Senator Manchin saying, you know what? I'm going to vote against 2/3 of the $3.5 trillion spending package that Pelosi and Schumer want. Reports coming in, they themselves don't know what's in these tax and spend packages. They haven't read it. What do you say?
Well, that's absolutely true. That's why you get such crazy things in these bills, because no one knows what's in them, even after they're passed. Weeks and months afterwards, people comb through like an archaeological site and find these strange artifacts that have been stuffed into these bills. So hopefully Senator Manchin, Senator Sinema, and others will say no and stay no and not let them pass these things, even with fake low numbers, knowing what was going to happen down the road. And the tax increases, we know, would destroy this economy and give us what we haven't seen since the 1970s. That is rising prices and a stagnant economy. They used to call it stagflation. This will be stagflation, too.
Wow. Steve Forbes, it's great to see you again. Come back soon. Love having you on. Good to see you, Steve Forbes. Sure.